Macedonia 150 here, and today I'm going to talk about the top 5 PS2 games alike that are not favourite games. PS2 games that are not technically part of a series on the system. Right, so number 5, the Red Star. Now this is a strange one. This hard to explain this game, but it's a cross between. Well, it's basically a twin-stick shooter-like game, like Robotron or Smash TV, but it's got like melee combat in, and it's also crossed between other games like Treasure and so there's lots of boss fights in this game. It's got loads of like crazy things going on. You get to punch things and you get to shoot things all the time. Lots of bosses, and it's a really good game. And I'd recommend it for anyone who's into action games. It's not an easy game, though, obviously. It's tough. It's got a little space shooter side-scrolling space shooter segment in it. Not really easy, but it's in there. And it's another game which nearly actually never came. Unfortunately, the game nearly never came out as well because it was going to be published by, I think, Acclaim. Unfortunately, Acclaim went kind of bankrupt before it got released, and another company picked it up. This also meant when the game actually did get released, all the CGI cutscenes was missing because they was doing some shady thing, how there was with the animators getting it made or something, so they never actually appeared in the final version of the game that came out. But yeah, I'm glad the game came out, 'cause it's a really good game, and I definitely recommend it for anyone who's into action games or action games. Right, so number 4 now. This is a split. Right, Godzilla Save the Earth, which, yeah, in my opinion, is still the best Godzilla game ever made. I mean, the one on the PS3 and PS4 is complete, which is garbage. I mean, we're over a decade after Save the Earth get made, and it was somehow 10 times worse. It just boggles the mind rather than why they can never do a good Godzilla game. I mean, it seems an easy thing to do, but yeah, they never do it right, do they?
I can see.
But technically, in a way, that's part of a series because there was Godzilla Unleashed also on the PS2.
Having returned from his studies
So
in
actually,
China,
that's an honourable mention. So the real number 4 is the other game on the PS2 that doesn't have any sequels, and it was PS2 only, and that's War of the Monsters. Now, this one was actually developed by Sony. It's a series that Sony entirely forgot ever existed. I think it's developed by the same studio that made God of War. But yeah, this is basically another different kind of fighting game. Obviously, you play as monsters in the game, and you can smash buildings up. A bit smaller than Godzilla, these monsters, but you run around as a monster and you beat each other up, and eventually you get to like boss fights, and you fight like giant plant monsters and aliens and things. And there's secret characters like an alien and a dragon, and it's actually a fun game that's completely forgotten about these days, even by Sony. Which is a shame, really, because the best thing it reminds me of if you'd got the gods that it reminds me of. I remember the SNK arcade game King of the Monsters. It pretty much plays like a sequel, an unofficial sequel to that, because that had single boss fights as well. It's almost like King of the Monsters 3, but had nothing to do with SNK because they never made a real King of the Monsters 3. But yeah, War of the Monsters, pretty fun fighting game. One of them plays a monster or a robot smashing buildings up. And that's a very bizarrely small genre, and there's not many games ever made like that these days. I mean, there's like two on the 360, and one of them was absolutely terrible. Neither. It's a very small genre, the giant monster destroyer genre, which is pretty unfortunate. Anyway, so the next one, now we're going into games that you've probably not even heard of before, but number 3, Blood Will Tell Tezuka Osamu's Dororo. Yeah, that's a very long-winded name, but yeah, this is a game based originally off like I think the 60s or 60s manga comic book, created by the person who created Astro Boy. So yeah, I mean there was 2 other Astro Boy games released by Sega, the kind of meh one by Sonic Team on PS2, and the way better one by Treasure on the Game Boy Advance. If you're going to play one of the Astro Bombs, definitely pick the Game Boy Advance one. It's a million times better. Well, anyway, yeah, this was the final game with them working with Osamu, whatever in it. That the guy who created Astro Boys fight other series. So this was a bit different than the other two. I mean, this one has more of a photorealistic look to it. Well, it don't very realistic. It's weird looking. But you play as you're not a zombie in this. You're actually a living human being. But you play as a samurai who's essentially got no limbs. I mean, your guy's got swords for arms, a rocket launcher on his kneecap, a machine gun arm. Yeah, and you have to fight 48 demons to get all your body parts back, and that's the main goal of the game. Yeah, 48, and that is 48 bosses. And believe it or not, that sounds insane. I know. Yeah, this game has 48 different boss fights. And it's a 3D game with an actual story and plot. Shock horror. So yeah, there's a lot of boss fights in this game. There's surprisingly quite a few enemy types as well. And you think there'll be barely any enemy types with about 40 different bosses, but no, there's quite a lot of enemy types as well. Yeah, sure, there's only about probably just over 30 unique bosses, and some of them are repeated later on in slightly different colours, being harder, but 30 different bosses, that's absolutely insane. Just when you think of games like Halo 5 could barely manage 2 different bosses in the entire game. And most modern games can barely have 1 or 2 boss fights through the entire game. This one had 48! Yeah, if you love boss fights, there's lots of them in there. Strangely enough, there's no actual boss fight mode in this game. You think of a game where you're about some guy getting his body parts back fighting demons, you think with that many bosses, if you did have a mode where you could replay the fights, but nope, they didn't include one. Which is probably the strangest thing. There's some extras in the game when you actually beat the game, because you might have guessed you play as a guy called, what's he called, Hyakimaru, and some random kiddie hangs around with him called, who's a thief called Dororo, or whatever you pronounce it, whatever. So yeah, now in some sections of the game you actually have to play as Dororo on his own. He's a bit rubbish, to be honest. He's not as strong, but some sections. But interesting enough, when you've got both characters on screen at once, if the second player switches in a controller, they can play as Dororo and you could be the other guy and help fight bosses. Of course, they don't work all the time because of how the story works, but it's got like the Sonic and Tails like mode. It's not even advertised in the game, but it does it, which is kind of interesting, I suppose. There's a few extras once you beat the game, and it's a fairly long game. It took me well over 10 hours to complete. So
what kind of thief goes around ringing a bell?
Blood will tell Tezuka Osamu's Dororo, or whatever you pronounce it. Yeah, that's a game I definitely recommend, even if it has a completely mouthful of a name. Right, number 2. Now this is a game which is probably also a complete pain in the backside, probably to find in shops. Because even when it was new, I had a problem finding this one. Because the only 2 times I ever saw it in a shop, it bizarrely was the Spanish version, which had the full English translation in it because it did in all European versions, but the instruction book and the back of the case wasn't in English. And that is Graffiti Kingdom. Now this is technically a sequel, so you could call this cheating, but the original was never released here, so I'm entirely playing an entirely different game. So what is Graffiti Kingdom? It's a 3D platform game that has like a 3D character creator in it. You know, like a 3D character modeler, you can make 3D models using art tools. This game you can essentially make a 3D model and you can play as it in the game. And you can steal it and you can give it certain attacks by getting abilities from enemies. It's basically like essentially, in a way, it's like a prototype to that game Spore, but this game plays much better gameplay wise than Spore ever did. But it's kind of a similar idea if you've played that game. So if you like creating stuff, this probably it's not perfect and it's got limits, so it's creation tools, which isn't really the game's fault. It's because it's on PS2. I really wish it had been a series. I mean, it just confuses me how this series in general has never been remade on any modern system. It just seems like a game these days which should do way better than it did back on PS2, with all games like Minecraft out and all that, and all these creativity games. A game that lets you create your own 3D platform characters. You'd think people would be completely all over remaking that, but no, never happened. It's not the hardest game in the world, it's not a really simple game. Also, if you're one of these lazy people who can't bother to create your own characters, you can essentially just play as all the enemies in the game you encounter as well. And there's quite a lot of weird ones in the game, like you can play as a Taito logo, and you can play as a ship from the Darius games, you even play as Bob and Bob! Yeah, Bob and Bob are actually secret characters in the game to play as. There's even a girl from them Japanese PC Toho games in there. Tohu, I don't know how you pronounce it. But yeah, it's probably a pain to find this game, but if you can find a copy of it, and you like 3D platform games, you like creating stuff, you probably really like this game. It also has a versus multiplayer mode. So anything you catch in the game, any enemies in the game, or your own creations, you can put a memory card in and you can play against another person and play it like a fighting game against each other. Which is actually a lot more hilarious than it actually sounds, because you can just make a bunch of random nonsense and fight, and it's, yeah. Great game that not many people seem to remember anymore. It wasn't remembered back when it was new, so another classic by Taito that's completely forgotten about. It's even got fairly decent voice acting and nice cutscenes as well. And yeah, if you are one of those lazy people, you don't even have to make any of your own characters in the game. You can literally just recolour and edit the already existing player sprites and save them to a memory card.
A demon.
That works as well.
But I've never encountered one so powerful before.
Yep, Graffiti Kingdom, a game that's recommended as well. Right, so number one. Now this is the game which maybe you've heard of, maybe not. But it's Mobile Suit Gundam Federation vs Zeon. Yep, another Gundam game. There's a lot of Gundam games out there, I know. Though most of them never leave Japan. Well, anyway, this is one that did leave Japan. And it's actually part of a series. Maybe not played it, but it's actually uses the engine of one of my favourite Dreamcast games, that was Spawn in the Demon's Hand. Which is like this weird, like, fighting game like thing. Kind of like a fight game crossed with some game like Quake, where you have like deathmatch modes, where you have to constantly kill each other over and over. But instead of having you just shooting people with guns, there's lots of characters with guns and other weapons, and it was, that's the best description. Well, the Gundam game is this one is essentially the same game like that, but with robots. Now this series is, yeah, there's lots of crazy things going on, explosions and all that nonsense. It's a very simple game to play. There's not many rules or anything to it. You just pick a character and there's like one or two buttons, and you're never going to get overwhelmed by a million buttons, because there's only like 3 or 4. Like one does a gun, one does another gun, one does a sword attack when you're close by, and that's about it. So very simple game to play with people. Of course it has split screen, and the series is still going to this day, believe it or not. Though these days it's called Gundam Versus, but unfortunately they never leave Japan. I don't know why. I wish they would actually leave Japan. It was a little more fun than some of the other games